Right here in the America's Cup port, you can find the dish that made Valencia famous. And the place to come for it, La Papica. La Papica takes the best the Mediterranean has to offer and makes the classic seafood paella, one that hasn't changed in a century. But for the soul of paella, you must go to the source, to the very epicenter of rice growing in Spain, the Albufera. Fields of rice, 10 minutes from downtown Valencia. Rice paddies for mile after mile after mile. Rice was brought here to Spain by the Arabs when they invaded in the 8th century, and it's been here ever since. In fact, Valencians say that no one in Europe would be eating rice if it hadn't been brought here. And they think that other European rice dishes like risotto are just overcooked rice. The real paella begins here. Rice, chicken, rabbit, and snails. That's the original one. And everything else is called arroz con cosas, rice with things. And what things they have to offer in Valencia. For anything and everything you'd want in a paella, the place to go is the Mercado Central, one of Europe's biggest and most beautiful food markets. A splendid marvel of the Art Nouveau period. Look at this. Razor clams. You tap them and they move. This is great. So see, these guys are so alive. Cockles. Small clams. Look at these. These are like baby whelks or sea snails. These are great because they're crawling all over the place. I love that.
Soy peligrosa, eh?
You're dangerous. Yes, I see.
No.
I was totally seduced and wanted to buy everything. But for me to cook paella in Valencia would be a Coles to Newcastle routine. So I set out for Picassent, a small town 20 miles from Valencia. Here, my sources told me, was the place to go for the real deal paella valenciana, a restaurant called L'Alter run by a young chef named Pep. So we're coating the outside of the pan with wood ash.
Es importante.
It's very important.
Para que no se queme.
Keeps the pan from burning. This is orange wood. It's traditional in Valencia to cook with orange wood. Valencia is obviously the home of the Valencia orange. And the orange wood scents the paella with its aroma.
Lo primero, aceite.
Some olive oil. And then we have conejo and pollo.
Y conejo.
Pollo and conejo. Chicken and rabbit. Into the pan they go. See, Pep can adjust this heat by moving the wood around and creating warmer and colder spots on the fire. Pep is 28 years old. He's been cooking since he was 16, so he has made many paella. This is a third-generation restaurant. Pep's father cooked here, and before that, his grandfather. So paella is in the blood.
Okay.
Es bueno, huh?
Sí. Lo siguiente.
The meat is ready.
La verdura. Judía verde.
Judía, which means Jewish beans, but these are what we would call these romanos.
Normalmente es entera.
The beans are trimmed, as you would. So we'll brown the beans.
Deja muy buen sabor.
And he doesn't use a lot of these beans, which are local, but they give a lot of flavor, and they must be spread all through the pan so that they will be cooked evenly.
Tú puedes, si quieres, probar.
I can stir? Okay.
Muy bien.
Not bad?
Me voy yo.
But I'm a gringo.
Me voy a dormir.
You can take the rest of the day off.
Muy bien.
He's just being nice. These are garrafon. I'd call them gigantes, but they are obviously very, very big white beans. If they were fresh, Pep would be adding them now, but because they have been dried and boiled, they stay out of the paella for a little while longer.
Y el tomate.
Now we have ground tomatoes, tomato puree.
Esto es pimiento seco, es pimentón dulce.
Okay. Now pimentón, but pimentón dulce, sweet pimento, dried pimento. And the secret ingredient in Pep's paella? Water. No stock. Water.
Vamos a sacar un caldo.
You don't need stock. Water will absorb the flavor of the beans, of the meat, of the pimentón, of the tomatoes. In 20 minutes, the water will be stock. It's as simple as that. It's time to add the garrafón.
Sí, puedes tú.
Okay. And we sprinkle them around everywhere. It's enough or more?
Muy bien, muy bien.
That's good. And rosemary.
Sí.
Todo?
Vale, sí, no hay problema.
There we go. Okay.
Caracoles.
Caracoles.
¿Ok?
I'm glad. ¿Cuántos minutos will this cook for now?
20 minutos. 15, 20, 18. Depende del fuego. Yes.
More or less 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, so how does he know that it's ready to put the rice in?
Es una cuestión de sensaciones y de experiencia.
The short answer is experience. Time to take out the rosemary. We're ready to add the rice now. And it gets added over the middle because this distributes it better throughout the liquid. And this is the special Valencian short grain rice that grows all over the place here.
Es muy importante ahora el fuego, abrirlo.
Now it's time to spread out the fire. Very important. So we're going to reduce the heat a bit. It's very scientific, as you can see. The heat is all around the sides now, none in the center.
Es casi como si fuera de gas.
But the fact is, this is much better than cooking with gas. The room is filled with the most delicious smelling smoke, and obviously the paella is absorbing some of those aromas as well. Now it's time to taste.
It's good.
This alone is challenging. Getting it to my mouth. Oh man, that is great. You can taste the rosemary. The water has certainly turned into stock, and it's really, really full-bodied, rich, delicious, very, very meaty.
Ahora el arroz se empieza a ver. Entonces hay que ir quitando fuego.
Once the rice starts to surface, it absorbs enough of the broth to come to the top. It's time to start lowering the heat. Pep will gradually take out pieces of wood, move them to the side, and it will cook more and more slowly until it's done. The remaining broth is going to cook out, and we'll soon see only rice. Here in Valencia, it is typical to burn, almost burn, the bottom to form a crust called socarat in local lingo. And that's what we're doing now. The fire is almost gone, and we're just trying to get a little bit of crust and boil out that last bit of liquid on the bottom, and then we are done. Traditionally, you put the paella pan in the center of the table and you eat as much of the territory as you can conquer. This is how we're going to eat it.
Tú puedes estar comiendo.
You can understand this perfectly.
Vale la pena.
Now we let the paella rest for 5 or 10 minutes and then attack. Paella. Very nice. Hey.
1, 2, 3. Bonero. Bon appetit.
You see how there's a crust, but it releases? This is perfect. I'm worried there's not enough. I'm already done with my part. I have to start eating other people's.
I'm trying to conquer the center.
Salud.
Salud.